Okay guys, welcome back to Geometry with Miss Coffee. This is our last video, okay? So last little tiny bit we're going to talk about. And before I have you write these notes, don't write anything yet, I just want to do a little brief explanation about what we're about to cover, okay? Because this is definitely a little new for everyone. So remember we talked about the measure of the arc of a circle. Right? So you do not need to draw this. I just want you to listen, okay, if you could. So if I have a circle, and those are my two radii drawn, we talked about the measure of this arc here being the same as the measure of its central angle. So again, if that's 30 degrees, the arc has a measure of 30. So within arcs, well, what are you doing? Within arcs, you have two kind of categories that you're going to be finding. You're either going to be finding the measure, okay, that is in degrees, and it's going to be out of 360, no more than 360, okay? And it's going to look like this, a little M, and then we'll call this AB, and that's the measure, okay? You are also going to have to find the length of arcs, okay? Again, you don't need to write this. You can write it down if you want to, okay? It might help you to reference, but if you just listen, hopefully it'll kind of sink in. So the length of the arc is part of the circumference, which means it is a distance. Okay, so it's the distance of the arc from point A to B. So we don't put the little m there, we just put that there, or sometimes I'll put the length of AB, okay? So that could be anything. That could change. If I make this circle bigger, the arc measure will still be 30 degrees, but the length is now much bigger than the length of this circle. So the length is going to be anything, some number in inches or feet or centimeters, right? Whatever you're measuring. If you were to actually take a tape measure, one of those curved tape measures, and measure the length from A to B with your little tape measure, that is arc length, okay? So different from arc measure. So you have to make sure you know, when am I solving for the measure and when am I solving for the length? Because they're two very different things. Okay, so let's talk about arc length. Arc length will always equal the following formula that you need to know. Okay, so memorize. Start memorizing. It's not hard. It's the circumference, which is 2 pi r, multiplied by theta out of, or divided by, 360. Okay, so let me give you an example. Draw this picture, A, B, and we'll call this C. Let's say that theta, which remember is the angle, so just a variable. Let's say theta is 20 degrees. Okay, and I'm going to tell you here that the radius is, we'll make it nice and simple, 10 meters. Okay, so here's how I would do that. Arc length of AB, not the measure, right? The measure of AB is 20 degrees, right? But not the arc length. The arc length is 2 pi times, I'm going to plug in my r, 10. Then I'm going to plug in my theta, which is 20, out of 360. And then you simplify. But just like we did with circumference, I'm going to leave this in terms of pi, which means I'm going to leave this pi alone. So do not type in the calculator unless the question is asking you to solve for a decimal, like a rounded answer, okay? So you're basically just going to multiply all the numbers together, right? So you can do 2, in your calculator, you're going to type 2 times 10 times, and then go ahead and just type this whole fraction in parentheses. It's going to be the easiest way for you to do it, okay? What is that going to be? I don't know. Let me get a calculator. I mean, you can do each one individually, or you can just do 2 times 10 times 20 divided by 360. Ooh, okay, here's what you're going to get. So this is what I don't want. You're going to get 1.11111 repeating, okay? So remember our math math enter, enter. That's what I want you to do now. Convert it to a fraction, okay? Oops, sorry. So that's going to convert to, 10 over 9. And then you still have to have that pi in your final answer, otherwise it's wrong. So just go ahead and add it to the numerator. And then our units are in meters. Okay? Seems kind of weird, but it's actually pretty easy to do. All you got to do, again, is type in this, 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 and then just make sure you have it in a fraction, right? And stick your pi there. Okay, so what we just found was the arc length of AB was 10 pi over 9 meters. Okay, now if we wanted to do the entire circumference, well, we could do that, right? The whole circumference from here all the way around is just going to be 2 pi r, 2 pi times 10, which is 20 pi. Okay, so the whole circumference is 20 pi meters, but what we found was just the length of AB, 10 pi over 9 meters. Okay, hopefully not too bad. So why don't you guys try this one here? Again, make sure you're leaving your answers in terms of pi, and then we'll do this together. Great job. I'm so proud of you guys. You're the greatest. Okay, bye.